Guys, welcome to Nightshift Uncensored, episode 17. Today I have my hosts, Carlos and David, and we have Tabitha. Tabitha, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This will be a good one. None of us know anything about you.
I know some. I know some.
I know you worked in
We've
Alaska.
talked. Yeah.
I don't
Just
know
got
much.
back from Alaska, right?
Tell us about that. We'll start off with that
So
because that's different.
that was my first time not going there for dancing, and it was my first time living that north in Alaska. I was at the North Pole / Fairbanks.
Wow.
So
I love those
how-
shows.
Yeah, like
I
how
watch
cold
all
is
of
it there?
those.
I'm sorry.
How cold is it there?
So the lowest I saw it was negative 42 for 3 weeks, and with the wind chill, it was negative 67, and I had to go to work in that every day. And I worked as a medical assistant there. It was the first time I wasn't dancing in Alaska, so the pay was, not that.
Not what you're used to.
Yeah, not for that kind of weather. So.
Yeah. Wow. How did you have to prep your car or like leave it on a charger, right?
You have to charge it overnight. So you have to plug it in, and if you don't plug it in, your battery's dead. You got to get a whole new battery.
Yeah.
And so you can't forget it. And then it's really hard. The plugs freeze. So you have to take your gloves off when it's that cold out to try to get it in. And a lot of times you can't even do it. You just have to run inside and get your hands under hot water.
So you didn't have a garage?
No.
That's what I'm picturing. I'm like, you're outside in negative 67 trying to fucking plug your battery in.
Every day.
I mean, I don't think they have AC, and it's like wood-fired stoves that keep the places hot, right?
So in Fairbanks, they only have radiators, and they're extremely expensive to run. So we didn't heat our house as hot as we wanted it to, because it would have been $1,000 or more to heat it properly. At like 70, so we had to keep it around 62.
So you're fucking cold all the time.
I had to sleep in my North Face for 6 months every night.
Okay, so that sounds like grueling. So what's the positive side of like living in Alaska?
I don't think there was any positives.
Alaska. I hope you're not watching this.
So why were you doing it?
I was there for my husband. It's where he got stationed, and I'm not going to be there this year. He has a year left, and I'm going to sit this one out because I have a baby now, and I don't want my baby in negative 67. And I don't want to do another 6 months of complete darkness.
6 months of
So
darkness.
the sun just doesn't come up.
For 6 months, other than maybe 2 hours a day, and it's twilight. It's not real light, so it just looks like it's like 9 p.m. out, and then it goes right back down.
So it's dark out, 40 below, and
So
you
how
gotta
was
start
the
your
experience of dancing there?
So I danced at the Bush Company in Anchorage, and then I also danced on the Wild Alaskan, which is the famous strip club ship that went around Alaska.
So it's a ship that has a strip club in it?
It's now been demolished by the government. They sank it to the bottom of Kodiak Harbor, but
Sad day for
It's
everybody.
fucked up. Why?
yeah.
I never even heard about that.
Yeah, it's all over Google. We were making 25 to 30,000 a month on it till the feds came and shut us down because the owner was doing a bunch of illegal stuff. But it was great. The
Damn illegal
deadliest
stuff.
Yeah, the deadliest catch was our #1 customers, and they were on it every night, spending all their money. So, I mean, the lowest we made was $1,500 a night.
The deadliest catch, like you mean like the fisherman?
from the
people
TV, from the actual TV show, the actual characters.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And we were actually going to go be a part of their episode, and they were going to have them coming on our ship as an episode, and then the Fed shut us down.
Oh, okay.
But we hung out with them on a nightly basis for the entire summer that they were in
So
Kodiak.
the whole boat was a club.
The whole boat. It was an old crab ship that they turned into a strip club.
That's
so
dope, dude.
Yeah.
That's an experience right there, you know? Like,
yeah, we lived on it all but the 2 days we were closed down. Those 2 days we were required to get a hotel or Airbnb, but we made so much money. The $300 a night hotels wasn't a big deal. So, on our days off, we went four-wheeling, we rented trucks, we were shooting guns, we were having a blast. It was like we were like famous on the island. We'd walk in with the deadliest catch, and it'd be like it was the strippers and the deadliest catch. And,
Wow.
So
there should have been a TV show about that fucking boat.
Yeah.
they were going to, and it got shut down. But you can Google. There's so much on Google about it. You can see pictures of it.
What was it called?
The Wild Alaskan.
Wild Alaskan.
Yeah. So.
And then when you worked also the Bush Company, yeah. How was that like?
The Bush Company is also pretty crazy. I believe Courtney Love worked there, and I think Pamela Anderson did in the 90s. So it is definitely like a part of like the history of Alaska. But I mean, it's a weird place. You can make a lot of money, but then there's also no cover fee. So there's homeless people going in there, and then you're forced to be completely naked on stage 5 times a night, no matter what. So
Oh, it's totally nude. In Alaska.
completely nude. So it's so pretty much you're gonna be forced to get completely naked in front of homeless people, not by choice. And then your house fees are $250. So you better hope you made, or they will make you go to the ATM and pull out the money and
Wow,
hand it to them.
$250.
And how many girls are working, paying $250?
Probably 100 in the summer.
And what's the type of client, or what are they work in oil probably?
Oil and fishermen.
Fishermen.
And hunters. So the clientele is good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
These people make a lot of money.
they make a lot of money. So
And they drink it and
they drink
gamble
it,
it
and girls, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and strippers. So
I went to Alaska a few years ago, and I didn't see hardly any females. So I think we went to Anchorage, and can't remember the other city, and we did like a dog mushing expedition and stuff like that. We flew over the Denali, but my entire time there, I didn't see women.
there's
hardly any. It's
there's
mostly men.
no women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to a bar. It was all men. So that's why the strip clubs they do so well.
It's true. Like there, I was so used to getting doors like held open for me. I remember when I went back to the States, and like I was shocked when a door came swinging back at me because I was like, "This isn't Alaska."
Fucking assholes.
Was it like I was like walking in feeling entitled and like,
yeah.
no, I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, you haven't seen a female, please.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Like I never even had to pay for my check. So every single day they'd be like, "Oh, a random guy was in here. He covered your tab."
Wow, that's nice.
So yeah.
You're keeping all that money you're making.
Yeah.
But what other states have you danced?
So I danced in Guam. I danced in Hawaii.
Guam.
How was that?
Guam is insane.
I mean, how'd you end up? What was that move?
So I had a falling out with the club owner in Hawaii, and they always said like, "Oh, if you mess things up with us, you're gonna get sent to Guam. Like that'll be like you're gonna have nowhere else to go because you won't be able to give up the money or the military guys or the island life." And that was true, but I went to Guam and loved it and was happy. I got sent there pretty much. So, but that is as wild as it gets. It's like no rules.
What kind of clientele? Military mostly?
It's all military, contractors, pilots.
Yeah.
That's about it. Merchant Marines.
Drinking a ton of liquor and beer and acting wild.
Yeah, and it's open till they serve alcohol till 4 a.m, and there's a ton of after-hour spots where then the alcohol never stops, and there's you can get food, massages, anything. So yeah.
You ever feel nervous in Guam?
I did just because just like on Hawaii, they don't exactly like white people, so you have to like kind of watch out like that. Yeah, you can't get in fights with the police. You can't say anything because they will arrest
the
you.
minority over there.
Yeah, they will throw you in jail if you just talk back to them.
Yeah.
So that part's a little scary. Going to jail in Guam isn't very fun.
Have you? Oh, you went?
I went.
So you found out the hard way. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened? Tell us. the
I
story.
was really drunk. I don't know what happened. I guess they were saying I was being publicly intoxicated, and at a certain point, like, the police hit me, and I don't know. I guess I shoved him back, and the next thing I know, I got tased 5 times, and they threw me in jail.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to the hospital for 2 days. I didn't take being tased 5 times too well.
Yeah. Wow.
So after that, I've not been back to Guam since
Yeah.
because it was really just everybody was out drunk. I don't know. Maybe I was rude when they said something, but I don't know how it turned into that.
They didn't make you feel very welcome.
No, not after. Yeah, no, I don't recommend going to jail there.
Good.
Jail in Hawaii,
At first, I
too.
was like, Guam sounds like a cool place to stay. Maybe not.
Where is Guam?
It's like one of those islands in the South Pacific.
Micronesia.
Yeah, Pacific?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's past Hawaii,
Okay.
and it's all pretty much military bases.
Yeah. So you were you there because of your husband?
No, I just was.
Or you've been following military
I was
base
following
strip clubs?
military bases.
Ah.
Yeah,
You follow
Okay.
military men.
I was for a long time. Yeah.
How did you heard that was good money, right? I've
I heard
heard
it
that
was-
that's good money where it's where you have like military bases and there's just not a whole lot to do. So they
Yeah.
come out and they spend the money on the strip clubs or the local bars. So I've always heard that.
They do, and then it's like America's heroes, and usually they're like really good looking. A lot of times, like you'll have Navy SEALs, Recon Marines, Army Rangers. So you're meeting some of like America's like most badass, amazing men,
Yeah.
and you get to entertain them, and like it's like you get to feel like the privileged one because they're like gorgeous and like a great guy and a good person, and they're giving you money. So yeah, it was a really good experience. I guess that's why I chased them around
Yeah.
for so long.
How did you hear about that? Like,
I first went to Hawaii. I was in the Air Force myself.
oh, okay. So you were okay. That's cool.
And then, I got out. My best friend got stationed there, and she didn't want to go alone. So she's like, why don't you just come out and get a job? And then my job didn't end up paying enough, and she ended up forcing me to try dancing, and then that's how I got hooked on dancing.
Okay.
So the first time you danced was in Miami, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, I was living with this girl, and she had deployed to Afghanistan like several times. She's an EOD tech, so she made all this money for this awesome apartment from her deployments. And the first couple of months, I couldn't get a job, and I wasn't paying rent. And one day, she came home with little bags from Fredericks to Hollywood, and she's like, "You're coming with me." She's like, "You're not gonna stay here tonight." She's like, "Get in the car." So like we're on the highway, and she shows me the bag, and she pulled up to Club 939, and she opened the door, and she's like, "Get out." And then she threw the bag out. And she's like, "If I had to sit under a bridge in Afghanistan and get shot at to be here," she's like, "the least you can do is go to the strip club." And she drove off.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I went in and told him, like, I need a job.
Yeah.
And I made $1,000 my first night, and I went 3 days. And 2 weeks later, I had my own apartment.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's a wild story. Though. Like,
Yeah.
like a movie, you know, you get thrown out, here's a bag.
He's
Like,
go in there.
go there, make something of yourself.
Yeah. She's like, I sacrificed for paradise. What are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And you did. That's a
I did.
great story.
best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
So how long you been doing it?
14 years.
14. Okay. So how did you end up in North Carolina?
I was actually at the Bush Company in Alaska, and one of my customers he worked for Google Maps, and he's from here, so he does Google Maps here now. But he just said, "I love you. I want to like be able to hang out with you every day still." He's like, "Can I just get you an apartment in Charlotte?" So he did.
So you come here part time, and then he comes to see you.
He used to, but now he doesn't, because after 4 years, I unfortunately drained him of all of his money. He's ruined now, and he hates me, and I feel terrible.
I'm sorry.
about
Repeat that. What'd you say?
it. He's ruined. And he hates me now.
Wow.
He had to cash in his life insurance policy that would have been worth millions later to get out of debt, because he gave me $75,000 on Zelle in 3 years,
Wow.
and I never did anything with him. He's just a nice guy. But that's how I came to Charlotte.
Yeah. Wow. So how'd you finesse him to get 75,000?
I didn't.
What's your tactics?
I just always pretended I was working on myself. I wasn't ready for a relationship, and he was cool with that, and he just would do anything to make me happy. If I was like, I don't feel like going to work tonight, he would send me money, which in the long run, I think crippled me, because I would have made way more money going to work, but I was taking the easy way out.
Yeah, of course.
So if I could go back in time, I would have not have done that, and I would have been, instead of just getting cash apps and Zells and my rent paid for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You'd have double the money, but that's
I would
okay.
have way more money. Yeah.
That's okay. You learned.
I learned.
So what's next?
I'm doing this till March, and then my husband got orders to Hawaii, so I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna have to go back to medical assisting. I'm gonna have to give up all the glamour and all the money, but it has to end at some point, and I feel like it's ended on a really good note, and
So you're retiring?
I have to retire. This is actually, I came out of retirement, but now I'm actually gonna really retire.
Yeah, because I remember you said something about that. You were pretty much done.
And
Your husband's almost done too, or?
he's staying in the Army. He's just not gonna. He's almost done with the North Pole, so this will be his last winter at the North Pole.
How do you get assigned to the North Pole, I wonder? Like, is that a punishment?
It actually was.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
like, they send you to the North Pole. That can't be like...
He was doing some training exercise, and I think he like snuck alcohol in, and he got drunk, and he broke a toilet seat somehow, or smashed it over someone, and then they said they changed his orders from somewhere else. Said you have to go to Fort Wayne right now.
That's like some shit that would say, like, in the movies. Like, when I'm done with you, I'm sending you to the North Pole. You know?
It's true.
Line out of Scarface. He said, "You're going to Alaska. Pack warm."
Yeah,
Or,
okay, that's right. That's the movie I was thinking about. Pack
Yeah.
warm. Fucking North Pole.
So Scarlett was telling us about how her game plan when she walks in. Do you have like certain tactics, or is there something that you do before you
You're
go to
always,
work?
you're always in a VIP.
You're
not
hustling.
wasting time either.
You're hustling.
I just try to I go early, because I don't want to think I missed out on $1 or one customer, especially if I go early. I think I always make anywhere from 200 to 400 more than the girl that didn't. And I get to see every person walk in, and then if there was a chance at VIP, if I'm the only one there, I got it. And a lot of times I do get it.
Yeah.
And so it might look like a ghost town, but it only takes that one guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say coming in at 6, I make an average of 2 to 4 before 10 o'clock even hits, if I didn't randomly go to VIP. But I just try to stay strategic. Remember, don't waste too much time. I'm here for a goal. And I'll tell people, like, I had to pay $200 for my sitter to even be able to walk in this door, so I wish I can't waste time with you.
Yeah.
Like, I have
Oh,
to
so you're
keep
pretty
this
forward.
moving. Yeah.
If you're not trying to do nothing, just bye.
Yeah. And it was great to meet you. I had a good time with you. Flag me down, and if I'm available, I'll come back and do some more dances.
That's cool because you definitely are always busy.
I try to always just be busy, and then I try to and then I try to see like certain types aren't gonna like me, and I know who those types are, so I try to target more that I know will.
Yeah.
So.
What's your target, or what do you think that
I guess
is thrown to you?
as I've gotten older, the age I go for is older, but I'd say someone near my age. I'm 36, so I'd say anywhere from 35 to 55 is my target range.
Okay.
And I know a lot of girls lie about their age, but a lot of guys tell me when they find out my age, they feel like really relieved. And then they see it as they think it's more realistic to them.
Yeah.
Like they could actually be like, well, I could really date her because she's actually my age.
Right.
And then
Yeah, when most of the girls, there's a lot of 20-year-olds, 21, they're probably uncomfortable, older.
And then a lot of them have daughters if they're
Their age,
50.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be that age. So I'm like out of that.
Yeah.
That's the point. So yeah, that helps a lot. And then it helps a lot. I've made way more money ever since I had a child because then they relate to that more. And then they're like, well,
Really?
yeah, they'll like if I tell them they'll be like, oh, and for your daughter, they'll hand me like, and I never received tips like that before in my life. And now they're doing it because I think they're like, she's not going to go buy a bag of Coke with that money. She really has a baby at home. So they feel more secure and happy
Makes
giving
sense.
me the money, I guess.
So with a 14-year career, you got to have some wild stories. This is kind of like an ongoing thing that we talk about with these, that we have girls on. So is there like a story that sticks out to you that like that was a crazy night or that was one crazy motherfucker that you had to deal with that sticks out?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I guess.
We got time.
Oh geez, there was a lot. I guess the first one that comes to mind was when Pro Bowl came to Hawaii, and they had a rule: if you're at 300 on your stage, you had to be topless, and if you had 1,000 on your stage, you need to be completely naked and throwing on a full show. So, all the NFL players are in there for the Pro Bowl, and we start dancing, and out of nowhere, I'm dancing, and they come up. All these Pro Bowl players come up with a stack of ones like this, but they don't take the tape off of it. So I get pelted in the head. Next
like
thing
a
I
brick.
know. Like a brick, I get pelted in the head, and then my manager's pointing like, "That's $1,000. Take it off." So like, I get naked, and I finally regain my balance. I'm like trying to dance, and then 4 more big, gigantic men come up with it and are pelting me in the head, and I'm falling back. Next thing I know, I'm completely naked, and my heels like just flown over on stage, humiliated, and they're all laughing, and I'm like,
God, we gotta
You're
get an
you got a
animated
concussion.
version.
yeah.
Are they purposely throwing it at you to hurt you, or are they
They
just
were
trying to tip
doing
you?
it, and they had their whole entourage, and they were all hysterically laughing.
That's fucked up.
So yeah, so I just like picked up my 4 bricks, and I told the owner, I'm like, I'm done for the night. I gotta go. It wasn't even unfolded; it was easy to pick up. So
I remember one time we had a customer. I forget the manager that we had working for us, but a customer threw a brick. It was just like a stack of 100, but it hit him in the face. It hit our manager in the face before it broke up.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so that's one. All right. So do you have any others that come to mind, or that's pretty fucked up.
That's
Do you have any wild requests that you've dealt with, or
I mean, God, after dancing, I heard it
are
all.
you desensitized now?
I mean, I had a guy once, and he was from a very, I guess, we'll say, prestigious family in Honolulu. And he paid to do the champagne room because he desperately needed to admit to someone that when him and his family would take trips to Maui, him and his twin sister would hook up. And he was and he was still in love with her, and his marriage had failed because he was so in love with his sister, and he just needed to get it off his chest.
Wow, that's a lot.
And he said his sister didn't want to go to family dinners anymore because she became a Christian and got married, and she was just so uncomfortable. But he said that he was
So
never.
she wasn't in love with him.
No.
Only him.
And he was still in love with her. And these were people that were very wealthy, and you would never have any idea. Very
Pretty
successful.
strange. Yeah, that's a strange one.
Weird, yeah.
And then I always had a lot of military guys that would pay to go to a champagne with me because they'd be gay and they'd want me to pretend they were straight. So they'd be like, when we come out, tell my friends this and this happened, and I'll pay you all this money. So I did that on the regular to try to hide that they were gay for them.
Wow.
So that was a big thing too.
I never thought about that.
And how about, do you have a night that I mean, obviously, so you have a long career, so you probably have to do some reflecting at some point, right? Is there a night that you were like, man, that was a good ass night, like the most you made, or just like the best thing that happened to you? Anything like that come to mind?
God, there was just so many, I guess, nights over the years.
You have one that like changed your life? One particular night that just like
Changed my life.
in a positive way, I guess, you know? Somebody gave you $30,000 and you paid a bunch of debt off, or
I've never been given over more than 5,000. Which actually, that was at the Bush Company in Alaska. There was a customer, and he was about probably 300 or 400 pounds, and he had like sweatpants on. He had cat hair all over him, and he smelled like cat pee. So no one would come up to him, and he's begging everyone to come up to him. So he's begging me and begging me and begging me. And so I decided to go across the room, and everyone's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I walk up, and he showed me he had 30 grand in his pocket, and he hands me 5, and he's like, "I was gonna give you the whole thing, but you're just a stuck-up bitch." And he walked out, and he ended up being one of the biggest construction developers in all of Anchorage. And it's like, I think that 30 grand could have been mine because he literally just handed me 5 and walked away. So no one would walk up to him.
He just didn't shower.
He didn't shower ever.
That's
He put on, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the easiest $5,000 you ever made.
That was the easiest $5,000 I ever made. I did get paid to be an actual date, like just to go with Warren Moon during one of the Pro Bowl parties. So that was cool, which I didn't know who he was. I still don't, but that was cool.
How much you got paid for that?
I think it was a couple thousand.
Nice.
And I got to get off work, and all I had to do was just go and have fun.
Pretty and have fun?
Yeah. And then I got to meet some Hollywood directors through my time there.
Yeah.
It was cool, that came to shoot movies in Hawaii.
I didn't think of Hawaii as being a big strip club place. How many places do they have there?
Probably like 3. So yeah, it's not a lot of strip clubs, but they get a lot of business because it's the military and tourism and the Japanese.
I mean, I think the biggest story that I can think of as far as like success for one girl was the Bitcoin story, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
So like this customer came in and talked to this girl that works at the club, and he's just trying to get to know her. She wasn't even a dancer, and I'm probably not getting the complete story right, but I think he was asking her like, why do you work so much? And she has 2 jobs, and I guess she's like, oh, I have a lot of debt, and he's like, well, how much do you have in debt? And she says about 60,000, and that's how much Bitcoin was worth at the time. And he just put open up a Coinbase account for her and then send her a Bitcoin.
Wow.
I was just like,
Insane.
and then left. That was crazy,
Guess what his birthday was?
222.
I'm just saying. I was at the door when it all happened. Yeah, February 22nd. That's how it all went down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was
Too bad
actually,
you didn't get it.
It was actually the second because she was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, so I watched the door. So a guy comes in, pays cover, and she comes back. She's like, any action? I was like, no, this guy just came in. It was cool. His birthday was 2/22. She's like, damn. And then 2 minutes later, this guy that you're talking about comes in. His birthday is 2/22, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And he blessed her like I've never seen. Like that was insane.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was actually you take the top 2 or 3 girls that I've ever seen make money and combine it, and
That's 60,000.
Except for that one girl, that Jenna girl that you introduced to the guy that owned a casino in Vegas.
oh yeah, she got permanently bought off.
Yeah, that dude's worth like a couple $100 million.
Yeah, remember there was a girl we had back in the day. We were all floor hosts. Remember the guy would come in and the older white guy, and he would give us all umbrellas, and she would come out to Rihanna umbrella, and he would give everybody $5,000, and she would have to come out with an umbrella on stage. And when she came out, everybody had to throw the money up so it would rain on her. Yeah, she had a good little run with that guy. Remember that, Rumba?
No, I know.
Yeah.
It was a black girl.
I forget her name, but I got a great picture
Oh
of me.
my God, yes.
And there was an old white man.
Yeah. She would come out with the umbrella playing Rihanna, and he would just hand everybody stacks, and they had to throw.
And that's before like Making It Rain was like.
Yeah.
That's when Making It Rain just started becoming cool.
Yeah.
We didn't even have that kind of money back then. That's nuts. Well, is there any other stories that come to mind, or?
I actually was thinking of one. So when I first started dancing in Hawaii, that was 14 years ago. There wasn't like a lot of white girls that just worked at the club at that time. So at the beginning, I was kind of having like, I guess, like a lot of beef with the other like Hawaiian dancers. So one night after work, they were like, you know what? We're sick of beefing with you. Like, come have a drink with me at my auntie's bar. So I remember having the beginning of that drink, and then the next thing I know, I wake up in the back of a car, and I remember like I was trying to hold my head up, and I couldn't. They kept telling me, hold your head up, and like they were all like, this is our club, and you're not gonna take it. And they just kept hitting me, and they're like, I forget what they said at that point. But the next thing I knew, I woke up and I was actually in a ditch at the North Shore, and I looked, I'm like, where am I? And there's mountains and the sun is coming up,
crazy.
and I'm all bruised up, and I'm laying there, and I had like
That's
a
wild.
$300 shoe on at that time. I'm like, wow, I still got one of my shoes. And I looked in the ditch, and I'm like, there's the other shoe. So I take it off, and I start like just walking down like this random highway, and this truck rolls up, and he's like, do you need a ride? I'm like, yeah, I do. So like we're riding down the road, and then there's my Jeep, and it's parked. I'm like, that's my Jeep. So I get out and I run and I look at my Jeep, and the key is in there, and then my purse is in there, and the whole $1,000 I made at night that work was in there.
Oh wow.
So they weren't trying to rob you. They're just trying to send you a message.
That's all it was. Like, so yeah, then I go to work the next day and I'm all beat up, and they're like,
Oh, you went to
That was the next story, right? Like, did you go back? You're like,
well, like my rent was $2,000, and I was so used to making so much money there. I had that 1,000, but I'm like, I just need that other 1,000 to pay my rent. So when I walk in, all cuts and bruises and everything, they're like, holy shit, we weren't expecting that. So the one girl's like all like acting tough, and the other one comes up to me. She starts crying. She's like, I'm so sorry. I've been feeling bad all day, this and that. I'm like, well, what I'm confused about is like, why didn't you guys take my money? She's like, oh, we didn't want to rob you. We don't rob people. She's like, it was just a game spanking. She's like, but I did take something. And she pulled out, and she lifted in her purse. She pulled out my hair straightener. She's like, I'm so sorry I took your hair straightener. She's like, I don't know how you did your hair for work today.
So it was like a gang initiation.
It was a game spanking. To teach me to, like, you know, back up. This was their club. And
They drugged you and threw you in a ditch, beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And then you went to work the next day.
and I didn't get robbed. And I got my hair straightener back.
Tabitha,
And
that's a classic story.
yeah, and
You guys became friends.
I became really good friends with that girl. And for years later, she'd get drunk and start crying at the bar and be like, I'm so sorry for the time I left you at the ditch in the North Shore. Like,
that's kind of crazy.
Left you out for
then-
dead, dude.
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Drugged you, beat up in the ditch. That's crazy.
And then I still to this day have no idea. I'm thinking it might have been a Xanax. I have no idea what they put in there. I just know I literally had half a drink, and the next thing I know, I couldn't even. And then I remember they were like hitting me, and they were like, because they were speaking like pidgin. I remember saying, "But I don't speak your language," and that was the last time. And then I remember I got blasted in the face, and then I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, you knocked out.
yeah, that was it. And yeah, and then the one mean aggressor of the whole group ended up just leaving, because the longer I was there, like. The University of Hawaii students were like, no, blonde white chicks are working there. I can work there too. So then the climate of the club ended up changing. So unfortunately, I see like why they were so aggressive, because it did push like kind of their business out a little bit, which is sad. But yeah.
That's a good one.
Well,
Tabitha, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. Stay tuned for more, and have a good day. That was awesome.
Thanks for your story.
Yeah.
That last story might have been the best one we've had since we've started filming.
That was 14 years ago, my first 6 weeks of dancing.
That's
That's so funny.